What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, turn your post notifications. As you can see here, my client is in deep need of some surgery, so we are going to get him taken care of today. We'll be using the Gamma Plus X Series combo trimmer and clipper, and just get my boy back in the game. But I appreciate everybody for tuning into this video. Thank you for clicking on it. Hit that like button. Hopefully you get something out of it. But let's get to this tutorial.
Look, I just flipped the switch.
What's good, everybody? So we are going to hop right into this tutorial. As you can see here, I have a comb. It's a bit of a wider, it's between a fine tooth and a wide tooth comb. It's kind of in that central area, but we're laying down the hair, laying down his waves to make sure that we have the best foundation possible for this haircut. You want to make sure that the foundation is good, because if not, your house is going to crumble. The cut is already set for failure at the very beginning. So make sure that you lay down your groundwork, your foundation work before you do anything. Now you can see here I am laying down the hair around the cowlick area to make sure that that crown area is taken care of, and it's all the hair is laying where it's supposed to. That way we don't have more dense spots than need to be, or we're not cutting off more hair than we need to in that area. So once you get that done, we're going to take the number 2 guard, go with the grain in the direction of the spiral on that crown area using our clippers. These are the X-Ergos, and they're not zero gap, they're straight out the box how they come. And I have the Gamma Plus double magnetic guards on there as well. And like I said, number 2 guard around the crown area to make sure that we don't patch them or go too low on that area. Once you do that, we have the 1.5 guard right here in this area, and making sure we lay this hair down. I'm combing the hair and I'm going over it with the clipper to make sure we don't patch my client, we don't take any waves off, we don't take too much hair out that we need to. You just got to be very careful when using your clippers and cutting wave haircuts, and making sure that you don't patch nobody, don't patch no clients. But we have the X-Evo in hand now, and what we're using is I believe it's the X Pro blade. I'll have to get the exact blade and put it down in the description for y'all, but it's a separate blade that you can buy and add on to the X-Evo. I'll have to get that information for y'all, and I'll put that down in the description like I said. But we're balding out underneath our initial bald line and just getting all this hair knocked out. These trimmers are great trimmers. I did an unboxing over the X-Ergo and the X-Evo, and I told y'all I was gonna let y'all know what I thought about them. And to be honest, the X-Evo has a lot of power. It cuts down bulk easily. It edges up nice and sharp. And then for the X-Ergo, I'm very much enjoying that clipper. I haven't put it down. I've been cycling between the Stylecraft Rebel, and the Gamma Plus X-Ergo. Now the only thing that I haven't been able to do is, for some clients, I'm not able to get the bald line out for once we use the trimmer for the bald line. I can't get that trimmer line out, and I can't seem to get the blade close enough for the Ergo that I would like. But the Rebel blade has a fusion blade, which is set very close to where I can use that to get the bald line out if I need to. But with this specific haircut, I didn't have that issue and have that problem, so we knocked it out very easily. So where we had that zero line, excuse me, so we're taking that out now. We made our first panel of hair. We had the lever open, created a panel of hair to fade into. Once we had that lever open panel created, we close the lever all the way and start to begin opening up the lever a quarter of the way, fading up, open the lever a quarter of the way, and fading up until we have that panel completely knocked out. And once we do that, we're gonna go ahead and get to our next panel. But right now I'm knocking that out, and I'm just taking baby steps at it, following a process. And you can see I have that comb in hand, for the fact being that I want to make sure that I lay this hair down when it starts to go up with the comb, with the guard. Now you can see here I have that 1 guard on, lever closed, and I'm going against the grain, fading up, creating another panel of hair to fade into. Then I'm gonna take that comb the hair down, and then begin to fade up with our half guard, lever closed first. We'll go ahead and knock at that line, open the lever, knock at the line, and open the lever till we get that panel of hair completely faded out. Now you can follow this process for most of your haircuts. I will say that it works, and you have to tweak it for different hair densities or hairstyles. You might have to detail more for different haircuts, but for this texture of hair, this is the process that I'm following. I'll follow the same process up until I get to the top of the hair, in which I'll begin to go with the grain with different guards, and we'll get to that later on in this tutorial. But you can see here, I'm making sure that I go nice and slow, just taking my time. I like to detail as I do the haircut. It's just part of my process. I hate to go back to, you know, one side that I've already done, so I will take the time to detail little areas that I see to make sure that we get that area knocked out while we are already on this side. Now, the reason being, I like to do one side first and knock out the other side for, you know, promotional purposes, I guess you could say. Sometimes you have clients waiting, or walk-ins waiting, sitting in the chairs, just watching people cut hair. So I like to knock out one whole side first and allow them to see that blend work, allow them to see the fade and see how good it is, and let them be the judge of, you know, who they're trying to get into the shop with, who they're trying to go, whose chair they're trying to sit in. And that's the sole purpose of actually doing one side, besides, you know, having to do this for YouTube purposes. You know, YouTube, it's easier to do one side than film the other side, and it just works out easier that way. But you can see the fade is coming together. We got that one guard lever is closed, so we had made a panel of hair with the one guard lever open first, and then we closed the lever all the way and begin to fade up. So basically, you go to the guard above, make a panel of hair, drop down, close the lever all the way, and fade that area out with that same guard. Now I have the brush now, and it's just easier for me to lay the hair down for this specific texture by brushing the hair down instead of combing it. And the comb was doing its job, but my client's hair is very thick, so I had to have that brush to have extra bristles to knock that hair and lay it down, so we can get everything faded smoothly, faded evenly. So you can see I kind of tackle the hair against the grain. I have that clipper tilted kind of like at an angle, because we're going against the grain of that wave pattern to make sure that we get a smooth blend. Now you want to make sure that you're always brushing the hair, because if you don't brush the hair, you're not going to be able to feed the hair that needs to be cut into the teeth of the blade of your clipper. You're just going to be pushing hair around instead of actually cutting hair. So that's the purpose of actually brushing the hair down or combing it down when you're doing your fade. Now you can see here I'm detailing little areas with that one guard. Then I'm going to go ahead and take a 1.5 guard lever open and make another panel of hair to fade into. Now once you made that panel, I'm going to close the lever, and we're going to go ahead and fade out that area by closing the lever, opening the lever slightly, fading up, open the lever slightly, fading up until we have the area knocked out. So this is where I close the lever, and we're going to go ahead and knock out the areas that we see that need to be knocked out with the lever closed with the 1.5 guard. Now with this specific clipper, I've noticed that I haven't really had to go to every guard. I've been able to skip guards using the X-Ergo, and just the way the hair feeds into it, especially with straight hair, it's easier to skip guards in that sense. But for this purpose of this video, I am staying with my guard system to be able to, you know, provide some type of education for a system that you can learn. Now in this area, I'm with the one guard lever closed, going with the grain just to kind of soften this area out without digging into the length. And we're kind of just essentially thinning the hair instead of actually taking bulk off. So I have that one guard lever closed on that ridge area. I'm sorry, lever is all the way open right now for the top, so that's your 1.5 basically. Your one guard lever open is 1.5, and then I'm going to slightly close the lever as I get to the ridge, and that's going to be my fade technique with the grain coming down. And I'm going to see some areas that are still dark, and I'm going to revert to a half guard at one point before that, around the side area, to make sure that we had that taken care of. Now everything we did on the left side, we're going to do on the right side, and make sure that we keep everything symmetrical. You want to use the same steps, that way, you know, your fade's not lopsided, it's not higher on one side or lower on one side. And by repeating the same steps, you're going to create symmetry, and when you create symmetry, you're going to have an even, balanced haircut. So you can see here the haircut is coming together. I've got both fades done on both sides. I'm going to lay down some hair spritz and begin brushing the hair to lay it down, and just to keep it in place. Now after we brush, you can start to see those waves to pop. They're coming out, and what we're going to tackle next is the edge up, and I'm using the X-Evo, and we're just getting this nice and crispy for my client. If you're wondering what kind of gloves I'm using the level 3 medium sized gloves. I got the Gamma Plus brush. I have the 245 power mat. We didn't use a shaver on this haircut. It was just the trimmer and the clipper, and we're just getting everything nice and crispy. Now what you do to one side, you're gonna do it the other. And another thing that I've noticed about these X-Evos is that they don't bite. I haven't had one client tell me they bite. You know, with my Babyliss FX, the influencer editions, I've had, you know, some clients say it'll bite in certain areas, like sensitive areas like their neck or the corner of their mustache. Same thing with the low pro FX, you know, and those aren't even zero gap, those are just straight out the box. So these as well are straight out the box. I didn't try to zero gap them. It is a different blade than its stock blade, but they are not biting. They're not scraping the skin, and I don't have a heavy hand either. But I mean, the lighter your hand, and you know, the blade is not as sharp, I guess, not as sharp, but it's not overlapping to where it's biting, you know. And so that's a good thing. So try not to have a heavy hand when you're cutting hair. It just makes things more enjoyable for your client. But we're using the razor. I got the level 3 A-Rod edition razor, and on the inside we got the Derby, I believe it's the black box, the premium, the Derby premium blades. Now once we get the edge up all crispy, I like to go over the haircut with some enhancement. You know, I just want to make it as crispy as possible, and also for, you know, photo purposes. It helps you to promote your brand, promote your haircuts, promote your services. So I have a Black Ice is the brand of this barber pencil. It's a nude color. I lay it down on the box front end of the edge up, and then after that I have the 245 Sean Cuts Hair color card, which is a barrier that we are going to use so that we don't get color enhancement on this forehead. We're just going to tackle the spots that need to be enhanced. And I have the 245 no drip. This is the onyx black color, and we're just laying it on there nice and even, not too thick, not too heavy. You want to maintain a natural appearance. And once we do that, I am gonna get those low pro FX trimmers. They do scrape away and blend that that barber pencil a lot better than the X-Evo that I was using. So I'm able to get that knocked out. And if you're wondering, your Babyliss FX clipper power clip will fit on your Babyliss. I'm sorry, yeah, your Babyliss Skeleton FX power clip will fit on your Low Pro FX clipper, Low Pro FX trimmer. I'm sorry. So that's getting all knocked out. We're getting that nice and blended in. Then we're gonna go over it with a razor once again, just to get the sharpest line we possibly can. And I'm not shaping up the hair at this point. I'm shaping up just that barber pencil, that color enhancement. So we're not pushing any edge ups back. We're just making sure we get that barber pencil nice and blended and out the way to keep it as natural looking as possible. After all this, we're gonna throw on some oil sheen. Any oil sheen will work. I got this one from Sally's Beauty Supply. Then it's a little trick I like to do with the neck strip, basically buffing the top of the head and just rubbing in that oil sheen into the hair, so it's not as shiny. You know, you're creating you know, the waves to pop. So you can see here from this angle, the waves are popping with this technique, but the haircut is there, nice and crispy. Just little techniques that you can use to, you know, change up your service. But that is the cut, nice and blurry, nice and crispy. Laid down some 245 color enhancement. Gave you my thoughts on the X-Ergo, X-Evo. These are both clippers I highly suggest you put into your arsenal. Check them out. Use my discount code Jayblends when you check out with Stylecraft and Gamma Plus on their website. So shout out to everybody who watched this video. Thank you for tuning in. There's a cut. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, turn your post notifications. Until next time, God bless.